wanted to see where NCLR was when Janet got started there 10 years ago, right? A little under 10 years, a little over. So you're not ready to leave yet, though, right? So, you can tell from my bio that I can't keep a job more than 5 years. Right? But Janet has held steady. And she's been an icon in our world and an advocate in our world, not just in this job, but throughout her entire career. And I wanted to share a little story with you. I don't know if you know this, but this is the truth. So about 2 years ago, I met Janet, and a little while after, I got a package in the mail from some marketing group that marketed playing cards. Do you know what I'm talking about? So it was some company in New York who must have just identified Rich Negrin and sent me this packet. And it was, they wanted me to buy in, and if you paid a certain amount, you actually were able to get your picture and your bio on a playing card, 52 cards. So they sent me a sample, and it was Latino leaders in the nation. So there were 52 Latino leaders on these playing cards. And I'm sure they didn't get your legal permission, but you were one of those leaders, just so you know. Because they didn't have mine, but I wasn't on that deck, that's for sure. But Janet was. And that's funny and interesting, and she probably didn't know about that, because it's obviously some racket, somebody trying to make some money. But you had to be special to be on that deck, and you had to be clearly a significant national Latino leader to be in that deck. And here's what the significance of that was. No, I didn't pay the money, no, I didn't get my picture on a card. But I'll tell you what I did do with that deck, because they gave me that deck. I sat down with my daughter, and every now and then, she and I would go through that deck, and I would read to her some of the female Latino leaders that are on that deck. And there were about 12, and you were one of them. And she knows all about Janet Murgia. And so, you know, I know that's not a huge distinction, because the list of her awards, whether it's working in the White House or the number of times that she's been recognized, to me that was special, and you should know that you've been a phenomenal role model for all our young women, and certainly for my family. So not only has she led NCLR through an incredible active moment, and really a linchpin, kind of vanguard moment for our community nationally, whether it's research, policy analysis, but the great advocacy efforts, in which we know these battles are not over. We know that the battles are raging today, whether it's about, I know you guys did a tour today in Philadelphia, but the poverty rate here amongst our entire population, roughly a quarter, a little more than a quarter of all Philadelphians live in poverty. We have the highest poverty rate amongst any large major city, right? Almost a tale of two cities. Growing in great numbers with millennials and young people who are deciding to be here in Philadelphia. A lot of young people here, right? All the old people are going to raise their hand. Right? But 5 years ago, just so you know, 5 years ago, 29% of our postgrads were staying in Philadelphia. Today that number is 49. So there's this great move, right? Folks who are investing in Philadelphia want to make a difference. But here's the rub, and here's the issue, and why we still need NCLR, and so many of you in the room to make a difference. That quarter of folks who are living in poverty, if you go into the Latino community, it's just under half of our folks who are living in poverty. The numbers in the 42 to 44% range around the Latino population. And if you're a single mom, it's even far worse. So those issues are very real. Those issues of education, those issues of opportunity and income inequality and poverty, they are deeply entrenched in our community and for all of us to make an impact. We're still having ridiculous conversations in state capitals like Harrisburg and others around things like voter ID and English-only laws, right? Folks just don't get it. And it takes an organization like NCLR to really put to heft their national reputation, their huge advocacy machine, and their efforts to make a huge difference, like they've done in places like Florida and others across the country, to really make a difference. And we're going to need your help here in Pennsylvania, that's for sure. Let's get a clap for that. So when she began 10 years ago, she had roughly about 150 affiliates nationwide. Today that number is 300. 300 affiliates nationwide. And I've said great things, so I'm going to pick on you just a little bit. And they started and opened have 7 offices across the country. I'm going to name them, and you're going to notice which one is missing. Washington, D.C., of course, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Antonio, and Miami. We got to have one in Philadelphia. I know Raphael has an office at APM. That's great. That's awesome. But we need a bigger office with a full staff, a big sign, because Philadelphia and our Latino community is growing and it's going to make a huge difference across the state, and we need your help doing this. So I want to see Philadelphia on that website next time I look. But look, she has helped with her organization register, all kidding aside, more than 500,000 Latinos to vote. More than 500,000. You can't clap for yourself, Janet. The mayor says that all the time. You can't. And 1.5 million eligible immigrants have applied for citizenship and received it because of NCLR's help. Let's give that up. So I get Janet the rare opportunity. Has she blushed at all? Have you guys been watching it? A little bit? She doesn't get embarrassed probably. This is just. So not only are you a hero to me, you're a hero to so many of us in the room, and certainly to our young people. They need to study, they need to learn. Those of you should do the same thing that I do, whether you have those playing cards or not. Talk to your daughters, talk to your young people about Janet Murgia and who she is and what she has done. That is valuable to all of us. It's one of my favorite things to do is talk to our young people, and I'll make sure that I continue to do that. But I got the honor now. You know, the mayor honors me quite a bit sometimes with, he's so busy when he travels, with having the ability to show up and do things for him. And today is one of those nights, right? The mayor would have been, and I'm glad he's not. Because Janet's one of my heroes. I'm sorry she doesn't get to meet the mayor, but she gets to hang out with me. We have an incredibly modest gift that we give that is incredibly rare. We only hand them out really just a couple a year. And you're getting one of those tonight, and that's our Philadelphia Liberty Bell. So I want to talk about that a little bit. It is made of wood. And I'm not even sure whether that's brass or just kind of sprayed on metal or something. But we love the fact that it's incredibly modest. And I'll tell you a story about it. So the mayor travels a lot, and he went to Tianjin, Japan, and had all these messages. And there's this entire protocol. He works with the State Department around how to do those things. And gift giving is a big deal. So the mayor was going throughout Japan handing out these gifts, and the Japanese were a little offended. Because they were made of wood, they weren't that fancy, and they were cracked. How funny is that? We are proud of our modest Liberty Bell. We are proud of our great crack. And Jenny gets to have one of these because of what it represents, right? It represents our modest beginnings here as a country where people came together, a city of immigrants, right? What better place to have NCLR for a regional meeting than where it all began, here in Philadelphia. Janet, on behalf of the City of Philadelphia, Mayor Michael Nutter, thank you for coming to Philadelphia, and congratulations.